All right, we got to do a quick computer update because that's kind of how this whole vlog thing started that we're doing here now and again. And I've had some people ask, are you going to stop kind of these, vlogish type things when the computer finally does make it back? And I don't think so. It'd be fun to just kind of talk about things, talk about what's going on in life, and I think I'll continue doing that. It's fun content, and that's the whole purpose of this channel to begin with, was to just make content that was fun, that I enjoyed, and there's no reason to kind of stop that. And the same with, for those that don't know, I actually have a video game channel too, and I post stuff on that. And the whole reason of doing that was just because it's content I enjoy making. I enjoy making content, right? It's what I do for my real job, and I want to do it for myself. And I just being able to talk about things that are going on in my life or talking about whatever, like I think that's really cool and that's really fun. So for those that are wondering, like now that we're getting near the end of the computer saga, spoiler alert for the future of this video, now that we're getting near the end of it, I do think that doing this type of content, like I said, it's been fun, it's been interesting, and I'm going to keep doing it. So anyway, that brings us to what's going on with the computer. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to this whole saga of all the vlog stuff, long story short, about the September 2nd or 3rd, I think it was, my PC died. My NZXT pre-built, it got during Intel gaming days. It was a really good deal. Just died, right? The PC died, unfortunately. And after working with NZXT, we found out that, hey, it actually was under a warranty still by like a day. So they come with a 2-year warranty. I was still covered by a day, which was really, really nice. I got the ticket in just in time. And they did it by not when I bought the PC because I thought it was out of warranty. They did it by when you receive the PC, which normally would never make a difference ever. But for this, it did. So because of that delivery difference, all this was covered. And thank goodness it was, because there's a lot of replacements for my computer. So long story short, I basically tried to turn on my computer, didn't want to turn on, nothing started, it's completely dead. I thought it was gonna be a power supply issue. Turns out it was a lot more than that. After first I had to buy a box from NZXT, which was the only downside of this whole thing, but the customer service and like helping me get everything was phenomenal. Which, by the way, really quick, their customer service was over the top good this entire time. Like, huge shout out to NZXT for that. So I had to buy a box because I wanted to ship back because I didn't want it to break or anything like that. So I bought a box that took a week to get to me. I put it, in the box. It took a week to send out. And then it's only supposed to take about 3 to 5 business days for them to fix your PC and send it back. And for me, after 5 days, basically they sent me an email saying, hey, we're fixing your motherboard, your CPU, and your RAM. All three went bad at the same time. They didn't really say why or how. I'm going to guess something with the motherboard fried it. But anyway, that happened. So they're out of stock of your parts. So we are going to upgrade you for free, which I was like, okay, that's really cool. Like, I'm going to get slightly nicer parts to the PC, which is always appreciated. Now, little do I know is that the upgrade is actually bonkers, and I'm still shocked by what they're sending me, but we'll get into that in a second. So I said, okay, whatever. And then a couple more days passed, and so I sent them another email that was like, hey, so what's the ETA? Like, how long do I have to wait for these upgrades? Are the upgrades out of stock as well, and I have to wait longer? Whatever it may be. And then they updated me later that day saying, hey, just so you know, we actually are shipping it out now. You're going to be good to go. And it takes about 5 business days to get back out to you. So all in, assuming I get my PC when I'm supposed to, because as of recording this video, I haven't gotten it yet. I'm going to be getting it in about 1, 2, 3, 4 more days. So it will be about 5 to 6 weeks without my PC, which has been a real struggle as a content creator. Obviously, I do a lot of work on that PC, but we finagled things around with hooking up the laptop and using my 15-year-old PC to kind of like do a dual monitor set or a dual PC setup. It was a lot of work, but we got there, and I'm really thankful that we were able to do this. And I kept this old stuff to figure it out and make it work. So anyway, they are replacing the motherboard, the CPU, and the RAM on my computer. And like I said, I thought these were going to be minor like improvements on my PC. So my old PC had, as far as the motherboard goes, an N7 Z590 motherboard, Intel's Z590 chipset with Wi-Fi and black cover. This was NZXT's motherboard, right? This wasn't like a third-party motherboard. Like, this was their motherboard. Like, if you go onto their site and look at their motherboards, like this was that one. And I remember this was like one of the first ones to come out. And usually I don't like buying like the first of a series, but I don't know, just felt like it was probably gonna be fine. So that was their motherboard. They have now changed it to an MSI Pro Z790 AMAX Wi-Fi DDR5. That's a lot of things that don't mean a ton to me because I'm not super into computers. Like, I like computers, but I'm not super into it. But a lot of those numbers didn't mean anything to me other than I'm now using an MSI motherboard instead of a NZXT motherboard, which I thought was kind of interesting. But sure, whatever. It doesn't really matter to me, whatever motherboard you give me, as long as it makes the computer work, I don't care. So the next upgrade, or the next part being replaced, was in my old PC. For my RAM, I had a Team T-Force Delta RGB, 16 gigs, right? Two 8 gig sticks, DDR4, right? RAM. Yeah, RAM. So that was good. And I was planning to upgrade that at some point. Now I was kind of upset that like I wasn't gonna be able to put in DDR5 because with the old motherboard it wouldn't work. But I was like, you know what, there's enough DDR4 out there that I can put in like at least, 4 sticks of 8 and then get up to 8, 16, 24, 32 gigs of RAM onto it. Just because, not that the computer was slow or anything, but like if I was playing a game and trying to record it, sometimes there could be some stutters, sometimes there could be some issues of that nature. At the time, I didn't think I was going to need more than 16 gigs of RAM, and I was completely wrong. And as I did more video editing and different things on that PC, it just needed more. So I was going to upgrade anyway. So they have upgraded my computer to now have Team T-Force Delta RGB, 32 gigs of RAM, 216 sticks of DDR5, which is crazy. They're just doubling my RAM for me. Like, just there you go. Have at it. Have fun. And I was like, that's awesome, right? That's really, really cool because that was an upgrade I was going to do anyway, not in DDR5 because I would have to replace the motherboard. So extra bonus because of that. But I was going to spend about like $100 on RAM to get upgrade, and now it's just being done for me for free, which is really cool, right? They didn't have to do that. Maybe they had to switch to DDR5 because everything is kind of that now, but they didn't have to give me 32 gigs of RAM. So the fact that they upgrade that is kind of bonkers in my mind. It's really, really awesome and super cool. So when I read that line, I was like, oh, this is phenomenal. I'm incredibly happy with this. Then we get to the CPU. So for this, I'm a big Intel guy. I know a lot of people like AMD for a variety of reasons. I had AMD in my old computer, I think it was this computer. But I have nothing against it. I just always liked Intel. I don't know why. Just a thing. Just, I guess their marketing worked on me. So anyway, I had an Intel i7 11700KF. Now, I don't know what half those numbers mean, but I had to look it up. And it's an 8-core 16 thread CPU. I think it's 5 gigahertz speed. I don't really remember. Whatever it is what it is. But yeah, it's a fine CPU. It never really struggled. It never had many issues when playing games or anything like that, or trying to run processes. Like it was a good CPU, like a good old-fashioned CPU. And then they upgraded me to, on the new PC, Intel i7 13700KF. And again, those numbers mean absolutely nothing to me. So I was like, oh, it's just like a newer version of mine. But according to CPU user benchmarks, when I actually look up the CPU, it is a 16-core, 24-thread CPU, which is crazy. So even just benchmarking it, it looks like it's going to be, just generally speaking, a faster CPU. Now, again, I don't know the speeds of each of those cores. I haven't really looked it up. I don't get too much into the weeds of that. I guess I could take a glance right now if I really wanted to. So I decided to look it up because, I figured if I'm doing this video, I might as well. So according to Intel's website, the older CPU, the 11700KF, was 8-core, 16 threads, max turbo frequency, 5 gigahertz speed, and then processor base frequency was 3.6 gigs. Right, which, and again, it was fine. It worked great. The 13700, again, 16 cores, 24 threads, and it has the max turbo of 5.4 gigahertz and the performance core base frequency at 3.4. So base frequency maybe is a little bit lower, max is a little bit higher. Whatever. It's got more cores. It's got like performance cores versus efficient cores. I don't know what that means. I just know marketing has worked on me, and more numbers mean better things, generally speaking, right? But I do use websites like, again, CPU user benchmark things, and it just says it's much a faster CPU. So regardless, even if it was a little bit of an upgrade versus like a lot of an upgrade, like, it doesn't matter in my mind. The fact is they're just upgrading it, which is phenomenal, which is really, really cool. And I'm really appreciative of them doing that. The whole, like I said, even taking that aside, right? The upgrades aside, the customer service has been amazing. Like generally speaking, whoever I'm emailing with, like during regular business hours, is getting back to me in like 2 hours. And if I email them overnight or whatever, they're usually getting back to me like the next day pretty quick. It's really good. It's really good customer service. I've been really happy with it overall. But yeah, so all I have to do now, because they had to reinstall Windows, is I have to do more Windows reinstalls or something like that. I forgot what I have to do. It's a whole thing because I got to pop my hard drive back in, and then I have to reinstall Windows with different drives. I don't know. They've sent me instructions, and hopefully I don't mess them up too bad. But they're just gonna hopefully help me out with all that. But I'm sure they will, because they have at this point. Again, I'm not a huge computer guy. I'm not super into it. But this experience has been really, really good and really cool. It's just been great. So anyway, getting that PC back, really happy with it, really happy with everything. It stinks that it took so long, but honestly, with what they've done with the PC, like I can't complain too much. So it's been interesting. So it's funny though, because once I'm getting to the PC, I gotta start work travel again. So like literally, I'm gonna hook it up. I'm gonna try to stream that night a little bit, and I gotta wake up like really early the next morning to start going on some work travel stuff, unfortunately. But yeah, I think once that PC comes back, we might do one more thing with it. I don't really know yet. But it's been a crazy experience. I really hope no one ever has, like, again, the thing that they use for work, the thing they use to make money, like, die on them, because it is terrible, right? If you are a big like photographer or videographer or social media person, or again, gamer or whatever, and your PC camera, whatever it is, just dies on you, like, it's a terrible feeling. It feels absolutely awful, and it's really exhausting to just kind of get all fixed. But I'm really fortunate that, again, it was under warranty and it was all able to kind of be taken care of. So that's really cool. So like I said, that was just probably one of our final updates before we actually get the PC back. But I really appreciate everyone that's watched these videos and been here during a part of it. It's been really cool. And like I said, I think we're going to keep doing vlogging stuff when things come up to talk about. It's just fun. It's just fun to create content, to hang out and do this and whatnot. So anyway, appreciate you all. Thank you all for the support that you've given me all this time during all this, especially those of you have linked your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account because you didn't know you had free Twitch subs to give out, and you gave them to me this past month. I really appreciate it. Remember, every single month you can keep doing that to your favorite content creators, whoever it may be. So we all really appreciate that. So thank you all very much. And yeah, really excited to get the PC back and start streaming with it again. But yeah, until then, I'll see you all next time.